What BlackRock has planned for Bitcoin and crypto is truly shocking. And what's crazy about this was so predictable from the beginning. And we are going to be talking about this. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those who are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. If we take a quick look back in January of this year, when the BlackRock ETF for Bitcoin officially got passed and started trading, everyone was jumping for joy because they thought, that's it, Bitcoin's going to the moon. We have here, BlackRock controls half the world. Its CEO is talking about Bitcoin. How can you still not be bullish on Bitcoin? Wake up before it gets too late. But I think that we should wake up and realize what's actually happening here. Think about this, right? If BlackRock controls half the world, why wouldn't they control Bitcoin? Why wouldn't they control crypto? Crypto is still a very, very minuscule asset class on a global scale. It is very easy for these names like BlackRock to control this space, especially Bitcoin. I bring this up because this is still an ongoing trend where this space is celebrating names like BlackRock, which for the longest time were looked at as evil corporations. These are the TradFi players and the big money players that crypto was apparently supposed to be a safe place for, right? Let's stay away from these big players like BlackRock. Let's have a market and an asset class that is entirely separate from, these players like BlackRock. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Bitcoin maxis and crypto investors just welcome these big players with open arms. I find it truly crazy to even be at this point in this market where everyone is just looking at these names, and no matter what Larry Fink, no matter what BlackRock is saying, they are celebrating it. I want to interrupt the video real quick to let you guys know that I have officially partnered up with Bybit, the third largest crypto exchange out there, to offer you guys exclusive rewards and benefits when signing up with my link down in the description below. There's over $30,000 plus worth of welcome rewards that could be yours right now. All you have to do is sign up, trade, and utilize the exchange. This is one of the best exchanges out there, 24/7 support. Massive amounts of trading volume in a 24-hour period. They have access to pretty much any market that you can think of around crypto. So what are you guys waiting for? Go and sign up utilizing my link down in the description below and have a good time trading. Over here, we have BlackRock is marketing Bitcoin hard. CEO says it needs to be in portfolios for uncorrelated returns. Check this out.
I believe Bitcoin is legitimate. I'm not trying to say there's not misuses like everything else, but it is a legitimate financial instrument that allows you to have maybe uncorrelated, non-correlated type of returns. I believe it is an instrument that you invest in when you're more frightened, though. It is an instrument when you believe that countries are debasing their currency, debasing their currency by excess deficits, and some countries are. I believe we have countries where you're frightened of your everyday existence, and if you have an opportunity to invest in something that is outside your country's control, then you can have more financial control. And so I'm a major believer that there is a role for Bitcoin in portfolios.
So I find it very interesting that he's talking about how it's kind of like a flight, right? Away from currencies that are failing, away from a system that will ultimately, fail as well, debasing currencies and crashes, things like that. So why now? Are we preparing for a major crash? I have been very vocal about that for a while. I do believe that we are headed into a storm in 2025, but also it's the fact that, they are marketing Bitcoin hard on mainstream media where, thousands and thousands and even millions of, sheep are watching this saying, I have to get into Bitcoin. Remember, they want you buying their ETF. They are making money off of the ETF, but they're also even making money off of Bitcoin itself. If Bitcoin is pumping, they are making money. And it's funny because I feel like people still don't get the idea here. I said, the elites don't go on mainstream media and show you opportunities to get rich. They want you to FOMO into an asset that will make them richer and keep you poorer by missing out on the real value in this space. I don't know who needs to tell you this, but Bitcoin won't make you rich. Do your own research and find out where the big money is flowing. For example, AI and RWA tokenization are two key narratives to watch. Don't be manipulated by the nonsense. Think logically. The elites don't care about you, they only want your money. And even if we go back to this post here from January 13th, remember that Larry Fink was talking about tokenization. This is the original post. This is the quote. ETFs are step 1 in the technological revolution in the financial markets. Step 2 is going to be the tokenization of every financial asset. Every single dollar that you can see out there in the world will be tokenized on chain. And Bitcoin will not, and I'm going to repeat this, will not be the one facilitating the tokenization or trading of those tokenized assets. Over here, we have Wall Street has passed Binance in Bitcoin holdings. If you total BlackRock, Grayscale, MicroStrategy, and Fidelity, now they need to control the price dominance of Binance, which controls 90% of exchange pricing due to their global market share of futures and spot Bitcoin volume. This dominance has been held since the beginning. This is an arms race to control the price. In my opinion, it is possible that Binance starts to sell their Bitcoin to Wall Street and to sovereign nations, and it may have already begun. Now, what's crazy about this is CZ stepping down. Was all of this planned since day one to give control to Wall Street, give control to BlackRock? Because you've got to think about this, right? Like, BlackRock with Fidelity and all these big players, they are controlling a significant percentage already of Bitcoin. I've talked to you guys about this list. This just got updated on September 20th. These are the top 13 Bitcoin holders. We have here that the US, excluding Satoshi, hold about 13% of the supply. Non-US, excluding Satoshi, is about 8.4%, which means that Wall Street now has control of roughly 8.3%. But what's even crazier about this is Coinbase is not on this list. Why is that important? Well, here we have the top 10 Bitcoin holders. This was 8 hours ago. If we look at this, Coinbase now has well over 1 million plus Bitcoin. Okay. It's 1,051,650 Bitcoin specifically. If we tally that up with the amount that the US government controls, BlackRock, Fidelity, all right, Grayscale, MicroStrategy, Robinhood, all right, now we have a very significant percentage of Bitcoin controlled by players that BlackRock has exposure to. I've talked to you guys about MicroStrategy stock, BlackRock, one of the top holders, Coinbase, top institutional holders of Coinbase. Guys, Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street. These big players are holding significant percentages. For an example, Vanguard, 8.7%. BlackRock, 5.41%. This is why you need to focus on the big players outside of the names. It does not matter how much Bitcoin BlackRock controls. Look at the companies that control significant portions of Bitcoin. And then look at who controls those players. Coinbase is controlled by BlackRock. And we're going to talk about this in a moment. But first, I want to play this video here from Whitney Webb. This goes back to January of this year. This speaks volumes now more than ever. Check this out.
I mean, to an extent, but you have to keep in mind too that there's major efforts to like co-opt all the on and off ramps in Bitcoin. So like even in that scenario, like if you have a lot of Bitcoin, but like you can't use it or exchange it for legal tender, you know, you'd only be able to like use it with other people that have Bitcoin, right? And so like there's a potential for that to emerge at some point, probably in certain scenarios. But as it is right now, I mean, there's an unprecedented effort by like the DOJ specifically to get like major crypto exchanges under its thumb by making them, well, I mean, the Binance thing is a good example, right? So like looking at Binance, what's happened
Yeah,
since
I was
the
going to ask you about
settlement.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, an insane amount of staff from the Department of Justice are surveilling every transaction that goes through Binance right now. And FinCEN has custodianship of the exchange for the next 5 years. They have all access to all of Binance's data, not just from the settlement forward, but all of their past data. So they can retroactively go and flag transactions, and the DOJ can be like, we're going to seize that wallet for X amount of Bitcoin and add it to, you know, the DOJ's massive Bitcoin holdings, which are among the biggest in the world. Right. So you control all of these on and off ramps and surveil all of that. Like that is a major problem.
Yeah.
And I think people have to be really aware of this like big push to end online anonymity and financial anonymity, or like just privacy that I've been talking about for a long time. So like, you know, obviously like Bitcoin has potential to be something, but if we let these people control the on and off ramps and like other major aspects of infrastructure, like maybe Bitcoin itself is immutable, but they plan to do everything in their power to prevent it from being something that takes a big chunk of their power away. And I think people have to be like, I mean, some people are naive about how far these people will go, but you should not be. Like, these are people that do not want to cede their power to anybody. And they're very accustomed to stealing from us. And they don't plan to stop stealing, you know? So, I mean, people need to be really aware of that and, you know, and fight to keep Bitcoin to be something that is empowering and a tool for freedom and financial freedom. Because, you know, if enough people get too googly eyed about the value going up and, you know, pumper bags and all of this stuff, I mean, there's a lot of damage could be done. And, you know, I mean, I wish I had more like positive stuff to say about it, but I mean, it's not like the battle is lost. Like, I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say is people need to be really aware that there are major efforts to co-opt. Like, maybe there's aspects of it, sure, that like can't be co-opted, but in a practical sense, like for regular people, it can be co-opted. Yeah. And there's when you have groups like BlackRock and all this stuff trying to get in on it, that should be a red flag that like they think they can co-opt it.
And the problem now is, guys, this was back in January. Now, if we really look at this, I do believe that it is too late. I do believe that BlackRock now controls Bitcoin, which, realistically speaking, controls the market. Dominance. It's all about dominance. Bitcoin holds dominance over the space. They can control this space now. And yeah, when we think about these major crypto exchanges, they are already under the thumb of the government and also BlackRock. Coinbase is a perfect example of this. Guys, Coinbase is one of the largest Bitcoin whales out there for a centralized exchange. And this is an update from September 23rd. New. BlackRock amended its spot ETF custody agreement with Coinbase to improve withdrawal times. Coinbase must now process Bitcoin withdrawals to a public address within 12 hours of receiving instruction, aka now BlackRock is saying this is a priority. You need to now do what we say. And this is exactly what happens when it comes to BlackRock. Even when it comes to their ETF, Do you guys remember what happened with their ETF? There was a lot of ETFs already around a Bitcoin spot ETF filing. We're talking about from Grayscale, from multiple players. The second BlackRock came in and said, hey, we want a spot Bitcoin ETF, the regulators had no choice but to approve it. This is how BlackRock controls markets. This is how deep the control that BlackRock really has is. They can control regulators. They can control asset classes. And then we have the big news, which is, all right, that's the biggest banks out there are now getting approval to custody Bitcoin. And everyone thinks that this is so bullish. BNY Mellon, America's biggest custodian bank, has received SEC approval to custody Bitcoin. And everyone is up in arms about this. They are, loving the idea that now banks want to custody Bitcoin at a time where TradFi and Wall Street already control a significant amount of Bitcoin. And let's go back to that video from Whitney Webb where we're talking about, major centralized exchanges being controlled by, the government, by Wall Street, by, TradFi, and they will do anything to control these centralized exchanges. And now, they have access to data. They have access to wallets. Any sort of transaction that they see that they want to deem suspicious, all of a sudden, boom, they're flagging those accounts, they're freezing it, and they're confiscating that crypto. They're seizing that crypto. This is where we start to see some very, very serious problems arising, especially around an asset class that is so early, so small, it's unregulated. Right now, if you have control and power over this space, it can get very, very scary, especially if that power and that control is in the wrong hands. And I don't think that I need to tell you guys that the wrong hands are definitely BlackRock, the government, Wall Street. This is a very serious problem. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.